Thank you for staying with us. Since the inception of the COVID-19 pandemic close to 2 years ago, the worldwide mandatory use of face masks in public places and the use of personal protective equipment in hospitals has become the norm, with billions, if not trillions, of masks and PPEs worn every day, ending up in the environmental ecosystem. A matter experts now warn may just be a potential crisis as the pandemic's expiry date remains unknown. Zainab Mohammed with more.
At the entry point of Nairobi's biggest dumpsite, Dandora, a strong stench hits you as you're met with heaps and heaps of wastes that have now created hills-like stature. Here is where all of Nairobi's waste is dumped, sorted, washed and oftentimes repurposed. This unfortunately including face masks and personal protective gears that are almost always hazardous.
It's also a way of mitigating climate change.
Dr. Caroline Mulinya, a climate and environmental specialist, says this could be a potential crisis in the coming few years.
PPEs are protective gear and they protect against infections. So you can imagine you yourself, Zainab, getting a mask that some sort we were thinking it's protecting somebody and putting it, maybe because of lack of knowledge or I think, I don't know if I want to call it ignorance or lack of sensitization. I don't know what to call it or just, I don't know what to say about it. So it's like you're adding yourself infections because PPEs should be correctly disposed. If possible, they should not get in contact with people. So it is sad to note that somebody can put on a used PPE. That person is adding infections to themselves, and not only to themselves, to the other people who he is gonna be in contact with.
According to Dr. Caroline, lack of an organized waste management program has led to widespread littering and pollution, with experts raising concerns over heat emissions in dumping sites.
COVID-19 pandemic, we don't know how long it's going to be here with us. But what I must emphasize is that we are going to use these PPEs for some time. What I want to emphasize is, and I've always said this, is that sensitization is paramount. If we don't sensitize our people that if you do this, these are the impacts, then we are not going anywhere. People have to be sensitized. People have to be told these PPEs are good, yes, but how do you dispose them off? You can imagine, just look at that scenario. I hope a photographer can take that, but when we leave things hanging like that, so what happens? We are polluting our environment, and once we are polluting our environment, it becomes so inhabitable for us. If it rains, this dirt ends up in the rivers, pollution to the animals, to everything else. So we totally, as human beings, we are to blame.
She says there's dire need for better waste management in the country going forward.
A potential crisis. And you see, I've said there are many parameters, or there are many factors, like population explosion. We're giving birth every day in, day out. And if this area maybe was inhabited by 10 people, and in the next 5 years, there are 100, what do you expect? We are putting pressure on all the resources. And of course, wastes, you have your little house there, I have my little house there, everybody has a little house there, we all have our wastes to dispose. So what does that mean to the environment? It's bigger and worse. But you see, if we've been well sensitized on how to manage our wastes, then as much as we are many, we can be able to take charge. But if we don't have that sensitization, and which is not taking place, then we'll have a problem in future.
According to Dr. Caroline, waste separation needs to begin from individual households. This, she says, is a potential solution to the ongoing crisis.
Waste management is important because it helps us to collect, to process, to reuse, and to recycle. And I'm saying not all wastes are the same. When you eat your ugali and it is left, it is not the same way as the PPE. So when you've taken your soda and you have the plastic bottle, it is not the same as ugali. So this waste should be separated. If they're separated, it becomes easy for you to manage them and even to reuse and to recycle. You can be able to know these are plastic bottles. How can they be recycled? How can they be reused? This is ugali. This is ugali and some meat bones and so on and so forth. That can easily decompose. Or can you give it to pets? Even giving to pets is a way of waste management.
Data by research scientists at the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute Gilbert Atuga showing a total of 23.8 million disposable face masks being used in Kenya every single day. This translating to about 714 million face masks in a month's time. Further, according to a report by the World Wildlife Fund, should one mask weigh at least 4 grams, a total of 28.6 thousand kilograms of plastics are introduced into nature monthly from face masks. A matter that totally undoes the gains made by Kenya in the plastic bag ban in September 2017. 30-year-old Eddie Gitonga, a Form 4 leaver, has come up with a brilliant innovation that leans towards separation of wastes.
Completely solar-powered.
The innovation that incorporates different aspects of technology in its design was solely created to promote the separation of wastes from the disposal point.
So the T-bin stands for tech bin. So the T-bin is a smart, intelligent, solar-powered segregated waste bin that is supposed to educate the public on how to responsibly dispose waste by separating it. The T-bin comes with an inbuilt CCTV to help strengthen the existing security systems. We've got an additional street lighting to enhance a 24-hour economy and motivate businesses to run a little longer. The T-bin will be used in schools, especially as digital boards and addressing waste management as well. Will be used in airports, in hospitals, in railway stations, in bus stations, in shopping malls. Talk about all the public spaces that we have in gated communities.
According to Eddie, this not only promotes waste separation but also waste reuse, since the organic wastes are disposed separately from the non-organic.
26, there were reports that 10% of global emissions come from dump sites. And dump sites are a global problem. Here in Kenya, we have devolution and waste have been devolved, and we are having dump sites in our counties growing every day. Especially, where I come from, here in Kiambu County, we have had challenges with several dump sites. The neighborhoods, people living around the neighborhoods complaining. Probably there is a lot of smoke that is coming from the dump sites, or there is over spillage of this waste. And once we separate this waste, we are able to really have a zero waste free environment, because once waste is mixed up all together, it really doesn't get recycled. It's very expensive for you to recycle a mask or even recycle a plastic bottle because it has been contaminated. Once you mix all the organic waste with the plastics, with the different kind of waste, it doesn't get recycled. It doesn't get to help anyone.
However, both Dr. Caroline and Eddie concur that for this to work, a lot of sensitization and civic education among Kenyans will need to take place. Something
that we all need. We need all hands on deck. We need everyone to, you can start with your own family. You can start by, if, for example, if the T-bin is at school, and then the T-bin, you have kids at school and then they're going home in the evening and then they're going to tell their parents, we have this innovation that came, we have a new dustbin and it is teaching us on how to separate our waste. And then this conversation is going to start from the kids to the parents, or it can start even from the streets. You see this, the T-bin somewhere in town, in Kisumu, and you go and believe and understand that we need to separate this waste from source. This conversation will continue from your house, and you're going to change your systems. You're going to probably have 2 dustbins. One, you're going to throw your your organic waste, and one is you're going to throw your kitchen waste.
We need to be told, ukipatikana unatupa uchafu, because now that's where you are, because now you put on your mask and you're happy, isn't it? But after that, where do you do it? So you should be told, if you are found throwing your masks haphazardly, carelessly, or doing your waste carelessly, then you'll be liable to some penalty. Then I think that will help us. And you know, Kenyans, I think we fear issues of fines and penalties. Ukiambiwa, if you are found, like the way you are told, if you are found driving this speed, you'll pay this amount. I think in the same vein, environmentalists need to put in such a radical measures that Zainab, if you are found throwing your masks and that is your house and the masks lying all over, we want to assume they are going to be yours, we are going to fine you maybe 2,000 shillings. I think that can minimize, because issues of policies, we have them. Issues of laws and regulations, we have them, but we don't follow them.
Zainab Mohammed, 247.